Okay, we ready? Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get this thing going. Okay, I want to welcome everybody here. We've got a quorum. We're still looking for a couple of new members. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to call the roll, Chuck.
Yes, sir. Wes Epperson.
I'm here.
John Powell.
Here.
Pam Wishan.
Wishon.
Wishon.
Here.
Excuse me. Labette Ojeda.
Here.
Marcy Gregg. Not present. City staff. Charles R. Harvey, Administrative Service Supervisor, Municipal Services.
Alex Lopez, City Engineer.
Matt McLaughlin, Deputy Director.
Mike Jackson, Director of Municipal Services.
Steve Maldonado, Construction Manager.
Okay. We're going to take a look at the minutes. Glance over them briefly and let me know if we have any additions or corrections.
I did notice that the title on it, it does say agenda still instead of minutes. I have already corrected that, sir.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any additions or corrections to the minutes? Need a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Need a, okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That motion's approved. Okay, we're gonna move on to the financial dashboard. And Mike, are you gonna do that?
I wasn't planning to this time. I
Okay.
probably will take it on from here on out. I know I used to do it, but who's been doing it for the past few meetings?
Is that
in my
you,
absence?
Chuck?
Chuck, okay. I'll leave it up
Okay.
to Chuck then at this time.
So we have a summary street sales tax fund that's provided by Municipal Services, and I asked Chuck to also include the financial department's report for period ended June 30, 2025. And so we can take a look at these and if you have any questions, as you look through that, we need to discuss this financial report before we vote on it.
I can walk you through some of the fine
Okay.
points here, just give you the quick brief overview. The first section there, the sources of funds, you can see that our sales tax projections and what we actually received in FY25 is extremely healthy, showing that we ended up with 131.71% over the budgeted, what we had budgeted for street sales tax overall. So
Okay.
very, very healthy there.
All right, I've got a couple of questions on the sources. The interest in income, the budget was 250,000, and they show that the collection was $878,751. I'm curious where this interest income comes from. Does this invested on the whole city? I mean, where are we getting that kind of interest from, or investment, whatever it is?
Unless, Chuck, do you want to, I mean, honestly, to be completely honest with you, I'm not entirely sure how the finance department reinvests our funds. I can tell you this is pretty much the standard across the board for all the other investments that the city's put in. Obviously, it's pretty good, $878,000. I think the $250,000 is just a conservative placeholder. So they want to obviously estimate low just in case. But we can get a response from finance and send it out to the committee to explain, hey, how does it generate so well? Because, I mean, I'm sure some of us would want to invest in that too because it's such a good return. So we can reach out to them and get an answer for that. But I'm not entirely sure unless Chuck knows exactly what kind of funds and how they do the investment side of it. So
I do not know the specific
Okay.
details of those investments.
And the other revenue, $2,985,043. What's the source of that income?
Those have been received by grants.
Those are grant. Okay.
Those be reimbursements from grants for existing projects directly into the street sales tax fund.
Okay. So this is grant reimbursement. Okay. But it's added as income?
Yes, because when it comes to grant funding with the capital projects, we front load the projects through our budgets by requesting money out of the street sales tax with the anticipation of that income coming in there. And then as the project goes along and we submit the reimbursements, that is showing that we are getting those reimbursed funds back into the street sales tax from having front loaded the budgets for those projects.
Okay. Okay. We can go, you can move on to the next section.
A brief overview of the allocations of funds section. As you can see, we're very well off in that area as well, coming in underneath budget on just about every area there. We did an excellent job budgeting our operating funds this year. And moving down into the capital budget, you can see as well, we're still well within the bounds of budgeted expenses. At the end of FY25, we see that we still have $11 million and some change in the street sales tax should any other things need to arise that we need to appropriate those funds.
Okay, on the operating transfers out, can you explain those? Are those going for an encumbrance? I mean, where's that? Down where it shows operating transfers out.
And
It was a little over $10 million.
yeah, I see what you're talking about. So for operating budgets, my best guess here, and if someone wants to correct me, that would be fine. If you look at the $10,745,086 budgeted, and the expenditure of $10,037,579 in expenditures, then that balance becomes the difference between the two. At the end of a fiscal year, all operating funds must be returned out of the budget that they were put into, back into the balance.
Okay. But the operating transfers out, can you,
Yeah, that's the section. Yeah. So the transfer out at the end of a fiscal year would be that operating budget returning back into the overall pot, so to speak.
okay. Anybody else have any questions? I will add this, that the first column there on the below the total operating expenditures, it gets a little confusing there, I think, because if you just go through and add all the numbers, it comes up to, like, the numbers don't jive unless you figure out which ones go together, and then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what
I
you're
added them all together and it was like $70-some thousand or something, but that's a little confusing there, I think. If you're not used to looking at how these numbers add up, how they balance out.
Yeah, I can make a greater separation, another solid line or something to that effect to separate the capital from the operating there.
Yeah, I think that would help. Okay, anybody have any other questions? We can take a look at since I had Chuck print these out, and that's the budgetary comparison schedule, which is the other financial piece here that comes from finance. I do notice that it does give us a beginning balance and an ending balance of the fund, that this one doesn't, but the finance department does. So we started with a unassigned fund balance at the beginning of the year of $13,497,584. And through June 30th, 2025, we have a total fund balance of $25,917,283. And I might add, this is an unaudited number, correct, Chuck?
That is correct.
So we won't have an actual audited number probably maybe for another 2 or 3 months?
Yeah, until the coffer is posted.
Maybe by next quarter?
Yeah, I think typically it takes around 5-6 months after the end of the fiscal year. So probably the first of the year, we're probably looking right at January, we'd have one.
Okay. Okay. Anybody have any other questions on the finance? We're good?
I've got a question.
Go ahead, John.
Um,
You're next.
on the finance department page, so on the form from the finance department, there's a line excess revenues over under expenditures, most of the way down the page. And it's showing an revenue being under expenditures of 2.775 million. Is that something that should be a concern about, or is there some reason that we're spending more than is coming in?
I can't speak to when they pulled these numbers. You know what I mean? It's kind of a moving target when you go through these. There could have been receipts that haven't come in yet, or reimbursements that haven't been adjusted for yet. I wouldn't pay it too much mind, because this is also just reporting on the street sales tax in an annual picture, as opposed to how ours is over and over, year over year. So so what we didn't spend in street sales tax and in projects and CIPs the previous year will continue to roll to the next. So if this is just an annual picture, and like I said, I don't know if this accounts for reimbursements, if they took this picture right at June 30th, 2025, before they had a chance for all of the receipts and everything to come in, it could be a very different picture than what we have. It's kind of like taking a snapshot in time, until receipts and things come in. But I would not. Long story short, no, I would not pay that too much concern. We're very positive in the street sales tax balance.
Okay.
Pam, you have a question?
No, I'm fine. I think he answered that for me.
Okay. If there's no other questions, we need a motion and a second to approve the financial report.
I'll move to approve it.
I'll
Need-
second.
Okay? We have a motion, we have a second. Everybody in favor of approving the financial report, say aye.
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 That motion carries. Okay, now we'll move on to the fall presentation.
I'll get us started and then kick off to the specialists here next to me. First few pages, fairly simple there, showing the membership of the Oversight Committee. We've got 2 vacant postings at the moment on slide 2. Our program overview has been changed since we last gave a presentation to council. Not only do we now monitor and use of street sales tax, but also general obligation or GO bonds. Still in our 16th year of programming, voters approved a renewal of street sales tax in 2017. That's the same. Addition is voters approved GO bond funding for bridges, sidewalks to schools, and preventative pavement maintenance in April of 2025. You will see that we have broken this now into a street sales tax portion of our presentation, and then have added at the end a GO bond portion of the presentation, so as to fully separate the uses of those two, not in touching buckets of funding. The revenue sources and allocation of funds that you can see on slides 5 and 6. That's identical to the information we just gave you in the financial dashboard. We have only been reporting revenue sources recently, but we determined in order to better match the other oversight committee, we have the stormwater committee to go ahead and report on those allocations of funds as well for the street sales tax. And then on slide 7, you have your street operations summary. Zan, not going to be here. The biggest change that you'll see to the street operations summary, you're going to see a reduction in overall lane miles for this current fiscal year. It was determined that the reporting algorithm that we were using was incorrect, and these are the new verified numbers of annual lane miles that we have done for street sweepings. That is the only one that changed, that you won't see an increase from the supplemental report we gave you in July. Everything else you can see continues to increase. 1,437.15 cubic yards of sweepings collected, 2,172 cubic yards of right-of-way illegal dumping collected, 1,688 repaired traffic signs, 15,311 potholes repaired, and then the snow operations, those should be the same as the supplemental information from July. And partial and full depth patching, 5,555 square yards. And then from that section, we move into our completed projects in the street sales tax, and I will let Stephen Maldonado speak on that.
Good evening. So 24 highway complete streets, that was already completed this summer. They are now working on phase 1. They completed phase 2 first. That is fully delivered by MoDOT. So my supervision over that project is minimal, but we do work closely with MoDOT to ensure the other projects are progressing. Little Blue Parkway and Jackson Drive intersection improvements. We've essentially met substantial completion this summer. There's a long lead item that's holding for a pedestrian pole that we're expecting to receive that mid to late October. Once we receive that, we'll be able to close that project out completely and complete the vegetation restoration. Truman Depot and Pacific Trail, this project has been substantially complete, actually completed, but there was some preparation, a bore through the sanitary lateral in the Truman Depot portion of it. That was actually a street sale, that was not the street sales tax portion of the project. That was actually with the parks portion. The Pacific Trail portion, which was tied to the street sales tax, that is 100% complete. But we are working with UP Railroad to work a new solution, as the solution that we submitted to them was not approved, as it's going to require excavation within 15 feet of the tracks, and UP Railroad does not allow that. So we are working a new solution. But after that is done, the main scope of that work has been completed. Now we're just doing the lateral repair. So that will be done hopefully by the end of November. Hopefully. That's assuming UP Railroad works with us. I try to stay optimistic. Pavement maintenance programming for current and under construction. We've completed the overlay and the crack filling. We are still doing the seals. We had a little late start this year on the seals, but it is still ongoing, and we're gaining a lot of ground on that. I would tell you that right here with the previous completed, since adopting this blended approach, we still, that number hasn't changed as this was delivered to you this spring. So those numbers are the same for those averages, but this current fiscal year, crack filling, we assessed and crack filled 20 and a half lane miles. We did complete that. We got just under 20 lane miles of overlay completed, and we've planned just over 30 and a half lane miles for seals, but it looks like we're probably going to gain more than that. It's too early to tell how much further beyond that, but I do feel confident that we're going to increase beyond that 30 lane mile piece on the seals coating.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are these projects being done?
For the pavement maintenance,
For the overlays and the crack ceilings? Or,
sporadically throughout the city as needed per the pavement condition index. All four districts have been receiving.
I think we're lacking a little bit in what we're doing as far as our repairs and things are going, because I drive this city every day. 23rd Street from Sterling to Lee Summit Road, you cannot keep a car in the lane. It is so bad. Now, I understand that that's a MoDOT situation.
Yes, ma'am.
I think we needed to contact MoDOT and say, okay, what can we do to remedy this?
We're working actually a solution for that. I think maybe in the presentation moving forward, city engineer can speak to that, but there is a 23rd Street Complete Streets project coming forth, and in a couple of different phases.
Well, I know I know I'm the new kid on the block, and I see this stuff every day.
Yes, ma'am.
But, when I start seeing overlays being done or stating they're being done, and I can't find any place they're being done, it kind of makes me wonder, okay, what are we overlaying? What are we sealing? What are we repairing?
Yes, ma'am. Well, we've completed 20 lane miles. What I can do is get that completed list. I can provide that completed list to you guys.
I would appreciate it. I'd just like to get a feel for what's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
What we're doing. Don't man me, honey. God, you make me feel old.
We make him say ma'am to be respectful, so he has to say it. I'm kidding. Actually, Mr. Powell, how long have you been on the board now? Like, is it less than a year?
Yeah, last spring.
Did we do the presentation since John's got on the board for the pavement maintenance, the condition, how we rank it and rate it, and
We have not.
okay, that might be a good presentation to do at our next meeting to kind of to show what we do, how we gauge, how we rate the pavement, how we determine what areas we go to with our limited amount of money that we have, and because some areas might score a 60. And this area scores well, it's bad and needs to be worked on, but this area scores a 40, so we go there for first. It's
Now that I could agree with.
yeah. So we do have that data, and we have it in a map form, and we can talk about it and explain that process. John, I know, is very aware of that. He hasn't seen the recent ones, but he's very aware of the pavement condition.
I was talking to
index.
somebody the other day, the street that I live on, has not been touched in 15 years.
There's many that have been a lot longer than the
You
15
know, and I
years as
look at
well,
that. And
unfortunately.
you drive down the street, you know, and that crack right down the middle of it,
Yep,
you either got to get a straddle of it or you're going to ride it.
yep, my street's same way.
You know,
exactly.
and that's kind of where I'm at in some of this stuff. You know, are we actually doing what we're saying we're doing, or, you know, is this
Assure you we are.
hitting
but
the back burner?
Yeah, the problem is limited funding, a lot of things to do. So that's part of the reason going after the geo bond. And with this geo bond, we're going to do a lot more overlays. You're going to see us way more visible than we have in the past. Our limited amount of money.
Mike, do you think that was the problem to begin with?
I do. Limited funding.
So
think it was a
actually,
combination.
when the voters passed that tax, that did nothing but help the city
Which tax?
as far as the street increment.
the street
Yeah,
sales tax?
yeah. That's giving us the funds now that we should be able to start getting our streets up to snuff. Because, you know, we want people to come in here and visit Independence. They're not going to drive these streets. I mean, I would be embarrassed to have visitors come in and, you know, now granted, some of the streets are great, you know, out there by Truman Library and places like that. But when you get outside of those areas, people are not going to visit a town where they're not maintaining their roads.
Yeah, and we have been maintaining them with the limited funding, and John can attest to this, that until the street sales tax, I mean, that helped significantly. Before that, you were just using general fund dollars to
Anything you
put
could
patch-
beg, borrow, or steal.
essentially. But as costs continue to rise, it didn't.
The sales tax is
The
not
sales
going
tax
up.
didn't go along with it over the last decade plus. So we feel your pain, 100%. We agree with you. I do think having that presentation to show you these are all the areas of town that are super neglected, that have been super neglected. We're trying to get to those first before we move on to the next round. And again, that GeoBond, doing the overlay that's specific for the GeoBond. We're not doing patches with that. We're not doing seals with that. That is strictly doing the overlay. We've decided over the last 4 or 5 years to do a lot more of the patching and the seals because it was a bigger bang for the buck rather than doing the overlay. So we have been out there a lot more in the last few years. And if yours has been touched 15 years ago, that's actually really not too bad compared to some areas. But we can put that presentation together. One of us can give that next time we meet. It's about a 15, 20-minute thing, and it's very visual, and you can see what we're talking about.
I would like to see that.
Should answer a lot of your questions. Okay, we'll
Thank you.
do that for sure.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I do agree. Once we give you that briefing, I think you'll have a great snapshot as to how this approach is.
Well, I don't want to sit here and act like I know everything when I don't know anything. That's the bad thing about it, you know. So the more that I can learn on this, I can get a better handle on when I can really start
Yeah,
making Wes tell me to be quiet.
we can get that scheduled for our next meeting. That's a good one when we don't have a presentation.
Yeah, I would add that hopefully we can get 2 more members on the committee, and then everybody could kind of get, instead of having to repeat over and over, hopefully we can concentrate. I don't know what we have to do, maybe really let the council people know we need to fill this committee. Because if not, we're going to be repeating the same thing. And yeah, I think it's good for educating people that come on the committee exactly what the plan is, what the overall plan. You know, I know part of it is cost share and all that, but residential streets is a whole, I mean, there's no cost share. MoDOT doesn't help with that. That's all up to the city. And it would be good for people to understand that there is a system. There is a reason why maybe you're only doing 2 or 3 blocks and then you're moving. You know, on the way over here, Vance Brothers, in fact, I had to go around off 35th. They were over in
Yes.
Banner Oaks.
Yes, sir.
They were still working when I came over, so.
No, that's a really good point. And to your point, Pam, that there are probably many, many, many other residents that feel the same way, that don't see the results and don't realize there is a rhyme to our reason. We are doing the science. We are running the numbers. We're looking around town and plugging with the limited resources we have to patch here and patch there and move around. So it would be good, not just for this board and for this committee, but to go on with, we've never had these live stream before until recently, and maybe that'll cause some folks maybe to watch it too and see, oh, that's pretty cool. That's,
Well, you know,
that's pretty
and
neat.
like when I find out this information, you know, somebody says, "Oh, you're on that street committee, aren't you?" Yes. Well, what's being done? Well, at least I'll have something that I can, you know, say, well, don't get discouraged. You know, it is being handled. This is the process.
Mhm.
You know, and it might alleviate a lot of the hard feelings and anger that people have gotten over the years because they're not seeing anything.
Absolutely.
So,
We will.
Thank you.
We will look to do that.
I have a question. Would it be a good idea to incorporate the snapshot with the orientation that we were having to do too as members are coming on?
I mean, Mr. Charity, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I
We
agree.
can include that for sure. Just at the very least, the map with a quick little brief, 10,000-foot view to say, here's what we're ranking them. Here's why we're doing. Here's if it's 50 to 60, this is what we're doing. If it's 60 to 70, this is what we're doing. And oh, by the way, we need this much money if we're going to do the entire city within 5 years, type of thing. So yeah, we can do that.
And just to finish off that slide, FY26 locations, we're still solidifying those for next construction season. 24 Highway Complete Street Phase 1, I spoke about that earlier. So it's ongoing. Square Streetscapes Phase 1, we've met substantial completion. There's some items that we need to work on, some punch list items, but for the most part, if you've been to the square, you've seen a lot of the changes that we've done there. And we've overlaid a lot of the portion around the square proper, and then some legs around there as well. So we've gotten some good lane miles done on that portion as well. Heidelberger Bridge that came through, that has been completed. Is that the same? And Vale Sidewalk Phase 2, 31st Street sidewalks, that just now starting, and it's a short work there, so we're gonna do some sidewalks and improve those areas around for Vale and Phase 2, and then there's a stretch from the school going down the road from 31st Street. That we plan to make short work of that, so it's not very complex project there, and there's not much to go along with that. So we will start and complete that fairly quickly. Truman Connected Phase 1 is currently out for bid right now, and we're answering questions through that. So we'll see what comes with the bid opening. And future capital improvement projects. Alex Lopez will take care of that.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. Just a note on the Truman Connected Phase 1 project, that bid opening is next week. So we'll have those results soon. For future capital improvement projects, we have almost $32 million budgeted for upcoming projects. We have approximately $49.7 million in expected grant reimbursements, and we have 12 projects in the design phase. The reason why the grant number is larger than the budgeted is because we're still catching up on the grant reimbursements. Like Chuck alluded to earlier, they don't give you anything up front. We have to front load everything and then get it all reimbursed. So we got a lot of reimbursements we're still working through.
Yeah, and it's proven to be a very timely process. So we just got to be patient and wait for that money to come back in.
Yeah. Well, tell that to the federal government that's shut down today. So. Right now, we have 12 projects in the design phase. Happy to answer questions on any of these in the list below. Some of the larger ones I'm going to highlight. 23rd Street Mobility and Safety Improvement Project. This is a project that we got over $11 million in grant funding last year through the Mid-America Regional Council. We are currently in the process of selecting a consultant to help us with the design on this one. This is going to enhance safety and mobility for pedestrians and all multimodal users through 23rd Street, all the way from Blue Ridge over to Lee Summit Road. So it's a really big project. But we did really well with those grants, thankfully. Fairmount Loop Trail, that's a smaller project, but that one is nearly complete in design. That's a trail around the Fairmount neighborhood that leads from Arlington and then goes down Kentucky and then down Ash. So it kind of connects the business corridor down there off of 24 Highway where those improvements are coming on phase 3, and leads to the elementary school there as well. So it just provides some sidewalks and walking paths where there are currently none over in that area. Truman Connected Phase 2. Wes could probably talk better about this one than I could. But this one is currently in design. We are getting an updated traffic study for that one. This is going to connect to the Truman Connected Phase 1 project and go along Sterling from Winter down to 40 Highway. It's still preliminary design, though. We're still working out the kinks on how that's all going to look. You'll see 23rd Street, Complete Streets, phases 1, 2, and 3. They are all separate projects, even though they're all on 23rd Street. It's moving from west to east, so phase 1 is going to be from Lee Summit to 291. We have some gaps in the sidewalk network there. We're closing those gaps. Phase 2 and phase 3, that's from 291 all the way to Jackson Drive, where there's currently no sidewalks or hardly any sidewalks at all on the east side there leading to the middle schools. That's going to create sidewalks on both sides of the street and a shared use path on one side of the street there. We're still working through preliminary design on both of those as well. And then the 24 Highway Complete Streets Phase 3, that's moving back west on 24 Highway from Wilson to River, I believe is the stopping point. Sterling, apologies. Yeah, from Wilson to Sterling on 24 Highway. So that really connects, that finishes connecting 24 Highway with the improvements we're making on that. That will also be facilitated by MoDOT. Those bids just came in a couple weeks ago. They came in pretty good, thankfully. So we're in pretty good shape there. Winter Road and Complete Streets and Nolan Road, those are very large projects still under design. Winter Road should be complete next year. Nolan Road, we still have several years out for that one. These are 2 grant-funded projects as well. The Inglewood Traffic Circle and Winter Road Streetscape, we got a nice chunk of change for the grant on that one as well. However, that's facilitated directly through FHWA, so we're on hold with them right now, especially given everything that's been going on here recently. So I will jump now to the general obligation or the GeoBond projects. So as you all know, you want to do it, Chuck? Or? I'll talk about the project, yeah, sorry. I don't want to steal Chuck's thunder there.
Oh, it's not my thunder. My life is thunder. Yeah, so this is the new section for our presentations is reporting on the GeoBond, general obligation bonds. Just a quick overview slide on slide 22. Voters approved the $55 million bonds for bridges, sidewalks, schools, preventative maintenance. Fund 54 has been established for the explicit purpose of tracking GO bonds separately from all other funding. That takes us to this is how we'll be reporting the expenses of those. It's a very simple umbrella accounts. We made 3 projects creatively called Go Bond Bridges, Go Bond Sidewalks, and Go Bond Preventative Maintenance. Pavement maintenance, 542601, 542602, 542603. If you're not familiar with the project naming conventions, the first 2 numbers, 54 is the fund, 26 is the year, and those are the number that the projects are created. So if you ever see a city project out there, that's how you figure out what it's for. You go fund, funding year, and project number. As you can see, 50 million currently budgeted for our plans for bridges, 10 million currently planned for sidewalks, and 30 million currently planned for preventative maintenance. And then we will, hopefully the next time we have this presentation, for you to give to council, we'll have some drawdown there from the expenses and start showing how the uses that we're doing for that.
Have we sold the bonds yet?
There, as far as I know, they are doing it in 2 batches, is what I was told. One now, or very, very soon, if they haven't already, and then one in about 3 to 5 years, so that they don't all go, up at the same time. So that is what I believe finance is planned for that. I can't, formally say what that is, but as far as I know, I don't know if we have the numbers yet for this first initial round. But I figured for simplicity in reporting, this is what you said we could have, and that what we're going to use, watch us draw it down.
I did hear that you do have a bidder on the bridge on Chrysler, right?
And that's what we're getting to next.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
yep.
Sorry, it's on.
Good segue.
No, that is
That's
an
a good segue.
excellent segue. Thank
He
you.
didn't
Thank
turn
you
it
very
down.
much.
Yeah, no, I was watching a council meeting and I heard that. So good, that's good news.
Yeah.
Outstanding segue.
Yeah, perfect. Couldn't time it any better. Yeah, we did receive just the one, but at least we got the one bid on the bundle of the Chrysler Avenue over Union Pacific Railroad Bridge and the East Kentucky Road Bridge over Mill Creek. It was Lewis Company, LLC. We've checked references and all the references have come in good. So we're going to move forward with them. You'll see that this has already taken a pretty good chunk of change out of the 15 million for the bridges, almost 2.5 million for the Chrysler Avenue Bridge, and 1.1 million for the East Kentucky Road Bridge. We are anticipating construction starting this fall. Obviously, the winter is going to limit us some, so we're anticipating project completions in 2026, or hopefully early 2026 with East Kentucky Road Bridge. That one is less complex and does not have the railroad component, which really can throw a wrench in things. Chrysler, we're projecting summer of next year, hopefully. And then we have some bridges in the design phase now as well. Kentucky Avenue over Rock Creek Bridge, which has been closed for several years, but it's an important one because it leads to our city's largest wastewater pump station, direct access to that. The Arlington Avenue over Rock Creek Bridge, another important one given the roughly 30,000 average daily traffic vehicles going over that bridge every day, taking people to and from the corridor there connecting to 23rd Street. Artie Mize over Little Blue River Bridge, that's the one that has the issue with some of the concretes falling off on the sides as well as underneath where the Little Blue Trail is. So we're going to address that. That's strictly a rehab project. The first two are complete bridge replacements because they're beyond their useful life. And the Lake City Valley Road Bridge as well. This is a smaller project, but this is also one that MoDOT has put on our radar as a priority structure and will be a full replacement. For our sidewalks to schools, we have the 7 schools that were listed after a meeting with local school districts. We have once again met with the school superintendents and other staff and gotten their wish list of the roads that they would like to see sidewalks added to or rehabbed leading to and from the schools. Our first 2 projects is going to be a bundle, are both here in the Independent School District, will be Castle Park Elementary and Mill Creek Elementary. These were based on the order of ranking of prioritization given to us by the Independent School District. We didn't just choose these. They basically gave us, they have 5 schools and Fort Osage had 2. Independent School District gave us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Fort Osage gave us the 1 and 2. So that's how we're working off of their priorities and going down the list.
So you're just starting on those.
Well, yeah, they haven't started yet. No.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to get those. We're looking at doing in what's called a design build delivery fashion, where we get a consultant and contractor together at once. It expedites the construction process, and for something like this that, knock on wood, is generally not as complex, it should be a good way to deliver these projects quickly and successfully.
Right. So you're working with the school district though?
Yeah, we've met with both school districts, we've had meetings, we traded emails. Yeah, they know what we have going on. And like I said, they provided us with their list of we went into the meetings and asked them, hey, these are the schools, but where would you like to see the sidewalks? What streets? Because, there's all sorts of streets all around the schools. So they provided us with those lists. So I intend it to be a collaborative effort with the schools.
And at some point, you'll have a public meeting?
Oh, yes. For each one of them, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Essentially all these projects here will have public meetings at some point.
Yeah. Okay.
And then finally, the pavement preventive maintenance. Really, like Mike said, it's just overlay we're doing on this. We're not doing the seals or crack fill or anything like that. It's going to be the complete overlay with the GEO bond dollars. So we're going to do roughly $6 million each year for the 5 years. The FY26 locations are currently being finalized. We are just working on the final locations and the spec book right now. My hope is to get that project out for bids by the end of this week. If not this week, we are very close, early next week. So that'll hit the street so contractors can provide bids on that this month.
Do you have any questions over any of the specifics in the presentation?
No, I don't think so.
So what's the process on this, the report go to the city council, and is it a presentation or just a submittal, or how does
Yes.
this work?
Yes, the council has chosen again this fall to have the reports from the committees be given by the chair or a representative from each committee in person. Ours is going to be at the study session on October 13th, which is also why our sister committee, the Stormwater Committee, is having their meeting right now at the same time across town. Yes. So once you all approve of the report and its substance and take a little vote on that, then Wes will be our representative again, as he did in the spring.
Okay.
I guess we could take a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the presentation.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Anybody else have anything to add? Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you. I thought that